I can put it.
Okay.
And these are the ones that don't, I'm not gonna take my man's money from his music and I'm not gonna take my man's money from his music, innit? You get it? We all eat. That's how it works. That's how it should work. And that ain't how it was working. I'm a collective, disrespectful piece of shit. So you see me, if I see a paganist, no remorse, you get it?
If you thought you ever knew about what a tapped rapper looked like, you certainly got no clue about who we're talking about today. With this guy keeping his mask on anytime he's awake and probably even when he sleeps, prepare to meet the masked man who thanks Satan for beating his case. In South London drill, where most of y'all already know it as UK drill, we're talking about no one else other than this guy named Lucy, with fans digging about his past with only his crazy tapped lyrics. This guy remains anonymous, where no one knows anything about this guy except for one thing: my man's eating. While other UK drill artists were repping their ends and talking about smoke like usual, Lucy's out here performing in a devil mask, rapping about taking souls and hitting 666 on the block. The fat kid from Lewisham, who everyone clowned, has since become the most controversial figure in UK drill, not because bodies dropped or ops changed, but because he brought something the streets had never seen before: straight up devil worship mixed with drill beats. And whether you believed in his demonic energy or thought it was all cap for clout, one thing's certain: when Lucy stepped in the booth talking about voodoo and Satan, my guy literally confused the producer and left anyone listening straight up alarmed. But I got all the details on who he is and where he came from, so pay attention. Chapter 1, Birth of a Demon. Catford wasn't known for producing rappers who worshiped the devil. Back in the day, it was just another South London ends where young G's moved food and avoided feds. The area that would birth Block 6 started as something way more innocent: the Catford Wildcats, a local crew that was more about repping their postcode than any serious gang activity. But streets got a way of changing man, and by the mid-2010s, Block 6 had evolved into something way more serious. The crew started making noise around 2015 with members like A6 leading the charge. These men weren't playing around. They had real beef with sets all across Lewisham, from Deptford to Sydenham. While other areas in South were building their drill scenes, Block 6 was building their reputation on the road. They linked up with guys from Peckham and Deptford, forming alliances that would shape the politics of South London for years to come. But little did they know that in the future they would be appearing all wearing masks on some of the biggest sessions, where they would literally change the lighting just for their videos. But check this out. In the late 2010s, a new generation of Block 6 youngers started emerging, and among them was this overweight youth who went by Lucille. Nobody was really checking for him at first, just another fat kid trying to rap, some people said. When later he would be seen falling over at an arcade and being posted on one of UK's most popular Instagram pages. Little did they know that Lucy had something different brewing in his mind, something that would separate him from every other drill rapper in the UK. While young A6 and Tizguala were coming up alongside him, keeping it traditional with their drill content, Lucy was on some next team. The thing is, bro started incorporating occult themes into his music, talking about devil worship and satanic imagery like it was nothing. This wasn't just some edgy teenager trying to be different. Lucy was fully committed to this demonic persona. What's wild is when he dropped that bar on Ritz, taking their soul and doing up Ritz, 666. Fans and other rappers were confused, like, what's this guy from Catford doing mixing Satan with street life? People were hearing this and didn't know whether to laugh or be shook, but that confusion quickly turned to fascination. Here was someone bringing a whole new element to UK drill, something that made New York drill look tame. Like, just look at all of these comments from the video. People clearly found this new sound cool at the time, but little did they know they were about to meet who he really was. Here's what happened next. The satanic content started flowing naturally with the gang references. Lucy wasn't just throwing in devil worship for shock value. He was weaving it into the fabric of his street narratives. When he rapped about sliding on ops, he'd add how Satan guided his blade. When he talked about beating cases, he'd claim it was voodoo that got him free. He was really out here mixing demons with drillings, and whether you rated it or not, you couldn't ignore it. The mask became his signature, this demonic masquerade mask that made him look like something out of a horror movie. While other rappers were wearing balaclavas to hide their identity from feds, Lucy was wearing a devil mask to embrace his. The visual was mad. This big guy in a satanic mask spitting bars about taking souls and worshiping the Dark Lord. That's wild, no cap. And when you saw people on TikTok and social media trying to fit in with his music on their clips, it just was hard to watch, bro. Because some of the listeners were literally kids who probably liked the sound but didn't realize this is about stabbing people. Block 6 started getting labeled as the Rap Devils because of Lucie's influence. The whole crew was getting associated with this occult energy, even if not all members were on that wave. But you know what I mean? Image matters almost as much as bars and drill, and Lucy had created an image that was impossible to forget. The South London gang landscape at this time was proper active. Block 6 was beefing with multiple sets across Lewisham, and Lucie's emergence coincided with some of the most violent years in the area. While he was in the booth talking about Satan, real violence was popping off on the streets. The contrast between his theatrical devil worship and the very real gang conflicts happening around him created this weird duality that defined his early career. Young A6 was moving different from Lucy though. While Lucy was embracing the darkness, Young A6 kept it more traditional, focusing on street credibility and gang loyalty. Teez Gwala was somewhere in between, riding with the Block 6 wave but not fully buying into the satanic angle. This created interesting dynamics within the crew. You had traditional drillers alongside this guy who was on some whole other spiritual warfare team. The reaction from the streets was mixed from jump. Old heads were like, "What's this devil worship nonsense?" While the younger listeners were intrigued by something fresh. Lucy wasn't following any blueprint. He was creating his own lane in a genre that usually rewarded conformity. And whether that lane led to success or self-destruction, only time would tell. Chapter 2, The Devil's Details. By 2019, Lucy's demonic persona had fully taken shape, and the controversy was reaching fever pitch. Men were flooding comment sections with reactions that ranged from disgust to fascination. Check this out. Comments were popping off saying, "This is not drill, worshiping the devil is not cool, it's just weird." That's what UK drill purists were saying. They couldn't understand why someone would mix Satan with street life, even when he would take a break and then come back with some random story. Fans were hyped, just like with this one Reddit post says, "Our prayers have been answered." People didn't even know how he looked like, so everyone just always would take guesses, and sometimes it would be a bit funny, not gonna lie, but others fans were not so down with the constant devil music, which is what Lucy was basically known at this point. And even some other people didn't know why he blew up in the first place, as if this guy had no sound at all. But Lucy didn't care about the backlash. If anything, he doubled down on the satanic content. So check this. In one freestyle that went viral, he straight up claimed he beat a weapons case through voodoo and thanked Satan for the outcome. That's when people started questioning whether this was just an act or if Lucy genuinely believed in the occult powers he was invoking. But aside from that, it's kind of weird that people were trying to set boundaries on what can and can't be discussed on UK drill. Like, bro, you're rapping about chasing down an OPP and stabbing him like you're buying breakfast at the corner shop, but you can't mention the devil in the line. Just like in the HB freestyle, they always would walk out dressed as roadmen, but maybe this wasn't a joke after all. But back to Lucy's, his mask became more than just a prop. It became his identity. Unlike other drill rappers who occasionally showed their face, Lucy rarely performed or appeared without his demonic mask. The mystery added to his aura, but it also fueled speculation about what he was hiding. Some said he wore it because he was too shook to show his face to ops. Others said it was because he was genuinely on some spiritual ting that required anonymity. Even for some time at first when he first came around, people didn't even know how he looked like. I mean, like what skin color he even was. But it was all until he posted an Instagram story where people finally saw that he was white when he showed off his latest tattoo. You already know the UK is pretty diverse, and this actually means a lot when you're a UK rapper because you got fans that are hyped when their favorite rapper shares the same roots as them. What people didn't understand was that Lucy's devil worship wasn't coming from nowhere. This wasn't just some random gimmick he picked up for views. The horrorcore influence from American rap was clear. Artists like 3 6 Mafia and early Eminem had walked similar paths, but Lucy was taking it further, making it central to his identity rather than just an aesthetic choice. And like you couldn't even compare the two because they were almost practically from different worlds. The gang ties made everything more complicated. See, when you're talking about worshiping Satan while also being affiliated with a known gang set, it creates a whole different energy. Block 6's ops started using the devil worship against them, calling them weirdos and Satan boys. But that mockery came with real tension. Nobody wanted to test whether Lucy's voodoo claims had any truth to them. And faux show, no one wanted to test him out in a hot dog eating contest with some people trying to make fun of him. But even Lucy at one point with some recent posts that came out showed everyone that was clowning him in the past that he could lose some weight. But man, does the community like to poke at him for some reason. But I'm sure most people wanted the best for him. Behind the mask, people were trying to figure out who Lucy really was. The streets talk, and word was that before all the devil madness, he was just a regular big dude from the ends who got bullied. Some said the satanic persona was his way of creating power where he had none physically. Others claimed he'd always been on some dark spiritual ting even before rap. Here's where it gets wild. The weight issue became a major talking point. Fans on Reddit were going in, saying stuff like someone looking like Lucy couldn't do anything athletic or violent. They were cracking jokes about him penguin stepping on an OPP. The disrespect was crazy. Here's this guy talking about being Satan's soldier, but he's built like he's been eating good for years. The jokes were crazy. But despite the jokes, fans were quick to point out his Snapchat stories when he once posted a cross that looked like it had blood on it, only for comments to call it out for being tomato sauce. While some fans found ways to make jokes out of random posts from him, others were still confused by who this guy really was. But the music was hitting different. Whatever you thought about his appearance or his devil gimmick, Lucy could spit. His flows were cold, his wordplay was clever, and the production choices complemented his visual perfectly. Tracks were getting millions of views, not just for the shock value, but because the actual music was hard, like he hopped on all of the hardest sets that y'all can go see for yourself. This is where it gets wild. The Brookmill Park incident added another layer to his mystique. Rumors circulated about Lucy being involved in a stabbing there, but nothing concrete ever surfaced. It became one of those street legends that nobody could verify, but everybody referenced. Did Lucy really ching someone in Brookmill? Was it before or after his devil phase? The ambiguity only added to his reputation. But he's already been involved in some beefs from the past, but he would always take to social media to get it cleared up. What's crazy is how seriously Lucy took the satanic element. This wasn't just throwing up devil horns in photos or saying 666 randomly. Bro was incorporating actual occult references, talking about specific demons, referencing real voodoo practices. Whether he studied this stuff or was just good at research, the depth of his devilish knowledge was unsettling. The Block 6 affiliation gave him a platform, but it also limited him. Being part of an established crew meant he had to balance his individual devil brand with the collective gang image. Not all Block 6 members were comfortable with the satanic association, creating internal tensions that would eventually lead to bigger problems. Meanwhile, Lucy's ops were having a field day with the material he was giving them. Diss tracks started incorporating religious themes, with rivals claiming they had God on their side against Lucy's devil worship. One memorable bar went something like, "Lucy thinks he's Satan, but he's just an overweight pagan." The disrespect was heavy, but it also showed how much attention his gimmick was attracting. The question everyone kept asking was, does he actually believe this stuff? In interviews, Lucy would dodge the question, keeping the mystery alive. Sometimes he'd hint that it was all entertainment. Other times, he'd say things that suggested genuine belief in dark forces. This two-sided stuff was probably intentional. Keeping people guessing meant keeping them talking. Chapter 3, Breaking Away from Hell. By late 2020, cracks were showing in the Block 6 foundation. The devil worship controversy had brought attention, but not all of it was good for the collective. Internal disputes started bubbling to the surface, with some members feeling like Lucy's satanic brand was overshadowing the gang's street credibility. The tension reached a breaking point when Lucy and his closest allies decided it was time to go their own way. Early 2021 marked a pivotal moment, the formation of No Remorse, NR. Here's what's crazy. Lucy was quick to clarify in a live stream that NR isn't a gang, but rather a music label. He was trying to distance himself from direct gang affiliation even though his Block 6 past was etched in stone. This move was strategic. By framing NR as a business venture rather than a street set, Lucy was trying to navigate the thin line between street credibility and legal safety. The split from Block 6 wasn't entirely peaceful. Streets were talking about betrayal, about guys moving funny for the bag. Some Block 6 members felt like Lucy used the platform to blow then dipped when it suited him. Others understood it was just business, that the devil gimmick had taken on a life of its own that didn't fit with Block 6's traditional image. But Lucy's crew actually admitted the occult angle was a major reason they blew up. In a rare moment of transparency, members of NR acknowledged on Reddit that the satanic content was calculated for impact. But even with this admission, Lucy maintained his devilish persona, suggesting that what started as a gimmick had become genuine identity. The formation of NR represented evolution for Lucy. No longer confined by Block 6's established image, he could fully embrace his demonic brand. The music got darker, the imagery more extreme. NR's first releases were like horror movies set to drill beats, with Lucy pushing boundaries that even his previous work hadn't touched. But independence came with challenges. Without Block 6's established infrastructure and street connections, NR had to build from scratch. The streets were watching to see if Lucy could maintain relevance without the gang backing. Some predicted he'd fall off without the Block 6 cosign. Others believed his unique brand would carry him through. This is where it gets mad. The weight transformation happened around this time too. Whether motivated by the constant mockery or personal health concerns, Lucy underwent a dramatic change, reportedly losing 30 to 40 kilos. Reddit was going crazy about it. One comment said, "That's an impressive cut." The transformation was so significant that people who hadn't seen him in a while didn't recognize him. And when it came to his other transformations, he put out a future Instagram post where he was standing in front of a Lamborghini in Albania where fans saw him without his mask chilling outside. Like fans couldn't understand if he was bait-facing, posting up a random dude, or if that was really him. But even with the physical transformation, the stigma persisted. Check this out. Even after the weight loss, people were still calling him a cringy devil worshiper. The weight loss earned him some respect, but it didn't erase the mockery his satanic gimmick attracted. If anything, it just gave his haters new material. Now they joked about him losing weight through demonic possession rather than diet and exercise. The NR movement started attracting its own following. Young artists who didn't fit the traditional drill mold gravitated toward Lucy's alternative approach. The label and collective became a home for outcasts and weirdos who wanted to make drill music without conforming to established norms. In a scene that often rewards conformity, NR was deliberately different. Lucy's live performances during this period were something else. Without the Block 6 banner, he doubled down on everything he showed before. Shows became rituals with staged satanic imagery and dramatic lighting. Whether you thought it was corny or creative, you couldn't deny the effort he put into crafting some cool stuff. The irony of claiming NR wasn't a gang while maintaining street credibility wasn't lost on observers. Lucy was trying to have it both ways, distancing himself from gang affiliation for legal protection while still claiming the authenticity that comes from street involvement. It's a balance many drill artists attempt, but few manage successfully. But who really knows if he was involved in some dark stuff outside of music? Even if he was really about that dark life outside of his music, some listeners just thought the lyrics were way too tapped, like this person who wrote, "Lucy is a finished rapper. This his demon shit is so forced it makes me want to vomit, and all his fangirls just make it laughable. The prison wardens should force him to read the Bible in pen whenever he gets sentenced." The business side of NR showed Lucy's intelligence beyond the music. By framing it as a label rather than a gang, he was positioning himself for longevity in an industry where most drill rappers' careers are cut short by death or prison. It showed he was thinking beyond the immediate street fame, planning for a future where he could monetize his brand without the constant threat of legal consequences. Chapter 4, Devils and Demons, the UK versus the US. The comparison between UK and US drill always sparks debate, but Lucy's satanic angle added a whole new dimension to the conversation. While American drill, particularly from Chicago, was known for its raw violence and body counts, UK drill had developed its own identity with different sounds, slang, and culture. But which one was really more deadly? And how did Lucy's devil worship fit into this transatlantic comparison? We're not talking about No Central C here or any other mainstream media. Remember, we're still on UK drill. Real talk, when it comes to straight body counts and gun violence, American drill had UK beat by numbers alone. Chicago's drill scene emerged from neighborhoods where shootings were daily occurrences, where rappers weren't just talking about violence but actively participating in it. The death toll among Chicago drill artists reads like a war memorial. La Capone, Lil Jojo, FBG Duck, King Von, and too many others to name. But UK drill had its own darkness. The difference was in the weapons and the way violence played out. While American drill was dominated by gun talk because guns were everywhere, UK drill was more about blades and stabbings. The violence might have been less immediately fatal, but it was no less real. The amount of UK drill rappers who've been chinged or done bird for violent crime shows the scene wasn't just music. Here's what's wild. Lucy's devil worship added a psychological element that neither scene had really explored. While American rappers might reference demons metaphorically, Lucy was out here making it his whole identity. This wasn't just about physical violence anymore. He was bringing spiritual warfare into the equation, something that made both UK and US observers uncomfortable. The public reaction to violence in both scenes was different too. In America, drill violence had become almost normalized, just another part of the Chicago story. But in the UK, every drill-related incident became front-page news, with politicians calling for bans and police creating special units to monitor drill artists. Lucy's satanic content gave authorities even more ammunition to demonize the genre. What's interesting is how Lucy's weight and appearance played into perceptions of danger. In the US drill scene, you had rappers like Chief Keef who looked like kids but were really about that life. Physical appearance didn't determine credibility as much. But in the UK, Lucy's size became a constant talking point, with people doubting his street credibility based on his weight alone. The mask culture was different too. UK drill rappers wore masks primarily to avoid identification by police, a practical consideration in a country with extensive CCTV coverage. But Lucy's devil mask served a different purpose. It wasn't about hiding from cameras, but creating a persona. This theatrical approach was more common in US rap, but rare in UK drill. When Lucy E made public appearances, the contrast between his online persona and real-life presence was jarring. At shows, he'd maintain the devil character, but people who met him outside that context described someone way more normal than his image suggested. This duality, demon in the booth, regular guy on road, added to the questions about authenticity. The UK drill scene's reaction to Lucy showed how conservative it could be, despite its rebellious nature. While American rap had a long history of controversial figures pushing boundaries, UK drill was more focused on street authenticity. Lucy's devil worship was seen as a distraction from real drill content, even by those who appreciated his musical talent. But here's the thing, Lucy found a lane nobody else was occupying. While everyone else was competing to be the most authentic street rapper, he created his own category. Whether you rated him or not, you remembered him. In a scene full of masked men talking about sliding on ops, the fat guy in the devil mask stood out. The danger in UK drill wasn't just physical, it was legal. The way UK authorities used drill lyrics as evidence in court, issued gang injunctions banning certain artists from making music, and monitored the scene like a terrorist threat meant that UK drill artists faced unique challenges. Lucy's satanic content gave authorities even more reason to watch him closely. Like, just look at what happened to suspect AGB with him fleeing to Kenya and then being caught at the airport and sent to jail. And all that came from Instagram posts and leaked messages and clues that led the feds to find out where he was at and where he was heading. In terms of actual violence, both scenes had their demons. But while US drill's violence was often immediate and fatal, UK drill's violence could be more personal and prolonged. Stabbings created a different type of trauma. Rivalries played out over years rather than ending with one shooting, and the smaller geography meant ops were more likely to cross paths regularly. Lucy's evolution from overweight devil worshiper to slimmed down but still controversial figure showed how image mattered in both scenes. The weight loss didn't suddenly make him more dangerous, but it changed perceptions. Some started taking him more seriously, while others just found new ways to mock him. The devil persona remained constant though, suggesting it had become more than just a gimmick. Chapter 5, Demonic Legacy. But now looking back, it really might just be that he's a really good businessman and knows what he's doing with this music and public identity. The split from Block 6 to form No Remorse might have been the smartest move Lucy made. It gave him control over his image and career in ways that staying with the gang never would have allowed. While Block 6 members faced legal troubles in street politics, Lucy was building a business around his controversial brand. In the end, whether you rated Lucy or thought he was a waste man, you couldn't ignore his impact. He showed that UK drill could be like some type of art, that personas could be pushed to extremes, that controversy could be monetized. The fat kid from Catford, who everyone mocked, became one of the most talked about figures in UK drill history. The devil might have been in the details, but Lucy's real achievement was making those details impossible to ignore. Love him or hate him, mock him or fear him, everybody knew who Lucy was. In a genre where standing out could mean life or death, he found a way to be different that kept him alive and relevant. And whether that was through satanic intervention or just smart marketing, the results spoke for themselves. The devil's work was done, and Lucy's name was carved into UK drill history. Thanks for watching, and click another box on your screen to watch another video if you want to see some other heat